the vice deans, I'm sorry, and also on behalf of the committee, I would like to warmly welcome all of you, the students, as the attendants of this Studium General. For today's Studium General, we choose the topic, namely the importance of having English literacy and linguistic awareness for the students in this digital era. So, as all we know that English today is a global language. According to a professor in linguistics, there are more than 500 million English non-native users today, which is more than the native English speakers. There are about 350 million. This means that students of English department and all of us, I think, should pay serious attention in studying English, which means that we have to improve our English literacy. And besides that, we also have to understand that English is not the only language in this world today. Other languages, including our national language and our native language, should also be given attention. For this, our Studium General today is going to be about the importance of English literacy and also linguistic awareness, which is awareness about the other languages too in the world. Thank you to Bapak Dr. Dewa Puturamendra from Undiksa University for going to share his words about the importance of English literacy. I should also thank Ibu Trisna Dewi M. Hum, who is going to do presentation about linguistics today, especially about the relation between morphology and reading comprehension. So at this time, I would like also to thank the Dean for going to open this program officially. And I would like to thank to our committee, especially the Secretary, Ibu Trisna Dewi MPD, and also all the members of the committee who have worked very hard in order to prepare this for all of us. Anyway, I should also apologize for any inconvenience and inappropriateness that we might experience during this program. So despite the hard time that we have for this long pandemic, I think we should keep our spirit of studying and sharing. May God bless all of us with health and happiness. Thank you. Om Shanti, 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 Om.
We would like to invite the Dean of Dharma Acharya Faculty to give speech and officially open the Studium General. For the Honorable Dean, the time is yours. Om Swastiastu Pak Dekan, mohon maaf sebelumnya. Om Swastiastu Bapak.
Swastiastu.
Pak, baru,
suara saya bisa dengar ya?
Sudah kedengaran Pak.
I'm sorry.
Silakan Bapak.
This with Head of English Language Education Department the Secretary of English Language Education Department, resource persons, the students, colleges, organizing committee. Ladies and gentlemen, let me say Pangajali Om Swastiastu. First of all, I would like to thank Ibu Sayang Oh, I'm sorry. I have to repeat again. Sorry. The speaker is off. The dismissed head of English Language Education Department, the Secretary of English Language Education Department, the research persons, the organizing committee, and the colleagues. And first of all, I would like to say Pangajali Om Swastiastu. First of all, I would like to thank to Ida Sang Widi Wasa, Tuhan Yang Maha Esa, who has given His grace and guidance so that the studium general can be held successfully. As the Dean of Dharma Acara Faculty, I am delighted and honored to have this opportunity to extend a warm welcome to colleges and all children who participate in this event. I also would like to congratulate English Language Education Department and the organizing committee for their tremendous effort in organizing today's event. I wish today's event will be beneficial and enrich us as the end of our encounter. Ladies and gentlemen, in this time I would like to say a glorious moment to extend my warm wishes on behalf of the Faculty of Dharma Acara. I want to convey my heartfelt gratitude to Dr. Dewa Putu Ramendra, MPD, for accepting the invitation and willing to participate in this event as one of our keynote speakers. We would also like to thank Mistress Komang Trishna Devi SS Empon, who is keen to share her knowledge in relation to this theme. Ladies and gentlemen, English instruction is expected to assist students in becoming acquainted with themselves, the culture, and cultures of others. Moreover, it will enable them to communicate their thoughts and feelings, participate in society, and even discover and utilize their analytical and creative abilities. English is a language used for oral and written communication. Communicating involves comprehending and expressing information, thought, and feeling, as well as progressing science, technology, and culture. The ability to communicate in a comprehensive sense is the ability to discourse, which is defined as the capability or capacity to comprehend and produce spoken and written text. This capacity is realized through four language skills: listening, speaking, reading, and writing. These four skills are used in social interaction to respond through or create discourse. As a result, English instruction focus on honing the skill so that graduates can communicate their thoughts and in English at a certain level of literacy. Performative, functional, informational, and epistemic literacy are all levels of literacy. On a performative level, individual can read, write, listen to, and speak using certain symbols. At the functional level, individual can use language to accomplish daily tasks such as reading newspaper, manual, or instruction. At the informational level, language skills enable users to access knowledge, whereas at the epistemic level, knowledge is expressed in the target of language. English proficiency is critical in light of technological advancements. This is because the use of English is no longer limited to greetings. It is now used to support a variety of activities. Even if we have no plan to travel or study abroad, English is still a necessary skill to acquire since the world has entered a digital era marked by technological advancements. Due to distance and time, the digital era has created the illusion that the world is limitless, as we were connected via the internet. Not a small amount of information in cyberspace is presented in English, so mastering this international language is critical. Through globally recognized English language qualification, future opportunities will be limitless. Ladies and gentlemen, digitalization is one of the greatest means of transforming the society in the present era. It directs the virtual transformation of almost every component of our lives today. The style of working, the means of living, the way of communication, building knowledge, including building literacy in linguistics and literature. Therefore, I'm sure that you all will feel enriched with knowledge after completion of this event. Finally, I expected the student general will be a productive and the next few hours will be enjoyable and fruitful to you all. On behalf of the faculty, I declare the studium general on the importance of having English literacy and linguistic awareness for the student in digital era officially opened. Thank you very much. And finally, I have to say Paramasati. Om Santi 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 Om.
Now, we come to the main session of the Studium Generale. The Honorable Komang Trisnadewi SSM Hum, Dr. Dewa Putu Ramenra SPD MPD are the speakers today and will be guided by Dewa Madi Agustawan SPD SM Hum as the moderator to lead the following session. Please welcome Komang Trisnadewi SSM Hum, Dr. Dewa Putu Ramenra SPD MPD, and Dewa Madi Agustawan SPD M Hum.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have your attention, please. Our seminar is about to begin. Please have a nice tension and connection. Thank you very much for preparing yourself to join our seminar. Om Swastiastu. Good morning, everyone. Respectable the chair, Dean of Dharmacharya Faculty, and the head of English Department, Dharma Acharya Faculty, and also the committee of today's seminar, the Honorable all lecturers of UHN Gusti, Bagus Sugriwa dan Pasar, and the Honorable all participants of this seminar. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Dewa Madi Agustawan, the moderator of today's seminar. I'm very pleased to see you here and welcome all of you to this seminar. Today's seminar is about the importance of having English literacy and linguistic awareness for the students of digital era. Ladies and gentlemen, our first speaker today is Komang Trisnadewi SSM Hum. She is one of English lecturer at UHN Gusti Bagus Sugriwa dan Pasar, exactly at English Education Department. She has received his bachelor degree in English language program at Udayana State University and taken his master degree at Udayana State University also. To Komang Trishna Dewi SSM Hum. Before the presentation begins, let me inform how the presentation will be going on. First, the speaker will be invited to present the material. After that, there will be a questions and answer session and followed by a conclusion. Now, allow me to welcome the first speaker, Komang Trishna Dewi SSM Hum, to deliver her presentation to Ms. Trishna Dewi SSM Hum. The time is yours.
Well, thank you, Pak Dewa. Can you hear me? Hello,
Yes.
Pak Dewa. Can you hear me? Okay. So thank you so much for introducing me to the participant of the Studium Generale. Maybe first, I'd like to say good morning to the Dean of Dharma Acharya Faculty and also the head of English Language Department, the vice of Dean, and all the participants. Okay, how are you today? How are you today, all? Yeah, okay. Yes, hope you are well today and ready for the Stadium General. Okay. Well, I'm going to share my slide presentation. Yeah, everyone can see it. Can you see it?
Yes, Ibu.
Yes. Okay, thank you. So the Studium General has a theme, the importance of having English literacy and linguistic awareness for the students of the digital era. So as mentioned by the head of committee, so English is very important to our life. So we know that English not only as an international language, but English has become our technology and business language. And today, I'm going to focus on one of linguistic branch, it is morphology. So my presentation entitled Morphological Awareness and Reading Comprehensions. But before discussing about that, I have a question for you to be answered about reading. I want to know about your reading habit. How often do you read books? That's my questions, but you don't need to type in the chat rooms. I'll share the link. Just click it and then answer there. Wait for a moment. Okay, I've shared in chat room. Can you find it? If you got it, just click it and then answer the question. Just one question. I want to know about your reading habit. Okay, so I have some option for the questions every day, 2 or 3 times a week, 4 or 5 times a week, once a week, or never. Okay, so I'm so happy no one answered never. Okay, so I'm waiting for your answers. Okay, I give you 2 minutes, yeah, 2 minutes left to answer the questions. 1 minute left. So there is not the right answer here ya. Jadi tidak ada jawaban yang benar. So this is about your habit. This is about your opinion. Okay, thank you. It's enough, yeah. Thank you very much, enough. So here, most of you read books. Oh, wait. Okay, so most of you read books about 4 or 5 times a week, and then the others once a week. Okay, so thank God no one answers with never. Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Now let's back to the slide. Well, more vertical awareness and reading comprehension. Okay, I have a quote here. I have a quote from Noah Chomsky. So he is a linguist, American linguist, and most people call him father of modern linguistics. Okay, and one of his theory is about innate understanding of the way to learn. So he said that we are born uh, ready to learn language. Okay, as he also said about language acquisition device. Jadi kita memang punya kemampuan untuk belajar bahasa, entah itu for first language, second language, or foreign language. What we have in ourselves. Okay, so I'll read a quote for you. So reading a book doesn't mean just turning the pages. Okay, it means thinking about it, identifying parts that you want to go back to, asking how to place it in a broader context, pursuing the ideas. There is no point in reading a book if you let it pass before your eyes and then forget about it 10 minutes later. Reading a book is an intellectual exercise which stimulates thought, questions, and imagination. So reading is not only just read the words or pronounce the word, but also you have to get the meaning of the written text. Whatever you read, you have to get the meaning. You have to get the message that the writer wants to deliver to the readers because you are the reader. Your position is the reader, okay, to get the information, to get the message from the writer. Well, so reading. So this is the definition of reading. Okay, the first one, reading is a result of interaction between the writer's mind and the reader's mind. As I said before, so there is the connection between the writer and the reader. There is a transfer of information. There is a transfer of something or message from the writer to the reader. And then the next definitions, reading is understanding written text, according to Pan, 2003. Okay, and then talking about reading comprehension or reading understanding, there are two basic components. The first one is word recognition or decoding, and then language comprehension or the meaning. So word recognition here or recording is the ability to recognize the word and its part, okay, and then get the meaning from the word. And then language comprehension here is the ability to get to derive the meaning from the written text, from the language itself. Okay, so both are the basic components in reading comprehension or reading understanding. On the right side of my slide, so you will see the process of reading. This is the process of reading, okay, proposed by Chomsky and Morris. Again, Chomsky, the father of modern linguistics. So it is started from the reader knowledge of the grammar. Jadi dimulai dari knowledge about the grammar that have by the reader. Jadi dimulai dari kemampuan grammar atau tata bahasa yang dimiliki oleh reader when they read the written text. Jadi mulai bekerja nih otaknya gitu ya. And then the next one, the reader will abstract the symbols of the words, the symbol of the words, and also using the surface structure. Jadi dia akan mulai untuk membaca itu akan melihat kata itu sendiri artinya apa, and also surface structure atau struktur permukaan. Struktur permukaan ini related to a linguistic syntax, for example. Jadi dia berhubungan dengan syntax. Bagaimana language itu the utterance the utterance of the language. Jadi not only about the words, tapi dia akan melihat the environment, means that the other words in that sentence. Now after that, the readers produce phonetic atau produce the output. Oke, jadi begitu prosesnya ya. Dimulai dari reader, dia membaca written text. Jadi dia menggunakan the grammar that have the knowledge that the reader have, and then mulai abstract the symbols. Jadi dia mulai menginterpretasikan simbol-simbol kata, and also the surface structures, syntax, nah seperti itu, the position of the words, like that, and then the readers produce the output. Okay, so readers phonetic output. Okay, next, reading. So what exactly reading comprehension? So that's the ability. When we talk about comprehension, we talk about the ability or understanding. So ability in interpreting the words, understanding the meaning, and the relationship between ideas conveyed in a text. Because when we talk about text, it's not only one word. More than words and more than sentences, of course, more than one sentence. Okay, so we have to be able to interpret the words and the meaning. Next, what do we read? Okay, so it's depend on your interest. Jadi apa yang dibaca ya tergantung kesukaan kalian apa. It can be novel, short story, newspaper, magazine, advertisement, comic, etc. It's depend on your interest. It's depend on your favorite. What do you like to read? Okay, and then how do you read? It's depend on the purpose of your reading. Tergantung lagi dari apa tujuan kalian membaca. So there are 4 main ways of reading: scanning, extensive reading, and intensive. So skimming is reading rapidly to get the main topic of the text. Jadi membaca cepat untuk get the main point. Untuk dapatkan apa sih the topic of the text, what is the main of the text, what is the text about. Okay, and then scanning, reading rapidly to get specific information. Hampir sama dengan scanning, you read rapidly, tapi here you get the specific information. Again, based on the purpose of your reading. So you want to get the specific information. For example, you have a text and you have questions. So of course, the purpose of your reading to answer the questions. So that's specific purpose. Okay, and then extensive reading. This is reading for pleasure, for enjoyment. Jadi untuk senang-senang saja, untuk to make you enjoy gitu ya, to enjoy reading. And then the last one is intensive reading. So this is reading to get the detailed information. Jadi ini membaca sungguh-sungguh membaca untuk to get the detailed information of all of the text. Okay, so which one will you choose? It's depend. Okay, depends on your purpose of reading. Okay, itu tergantung dari apa tujuan kalian membaca. Okay, now reading in digital era. Do you know the difference between reading in digital era and in the past? Yes. So in this era, we read on screen. In the past, we read on paper. Tapi mungkin bahkan sekarang masih tetap reading on paper. Okay. But I have a next question for you all. Saya punya pertanyaan lagi. The next question is about reading. Oke, untuk question yang tadi ya, mentang-mentang saya tanya tidak ada yang jawab never, ini langsung ada yang jawab never. Oke, please, jawabannya sesuaikan dengan kalian ya. Okay, please get my second link in the group chat. The second question, you just choose one of them. Reading on paper or reading on screen? Saya mau tanya anak-anak milenial, anak-anak di era digital. Yeah, please. Okay, I give you 3 minutes to answer the question. Reading on paper or reading on screen? Which one do you prefer? Which one do you like? Which one do you think is more comfortable for you? On paper or on screen? Again, there is not a correct answer. It is about opinion. So it's free for you to answer. Paper, screen, up to you. I just want to know about your opinion as the student in the digital era. Sebagai siswa yang sedang berada di era digital, jadi kalian tuh lebih memilih reading on paper or reading on screen. Now, 2 minutes left. Well, 1 minute. Jamnya saya jalannya cepat. Okay, thank you. So you can look at the result. Kalian bisa lihat resultnya. Okay, so most of you choose to read on paper, choosing books, choosing paper. Jadi masih lebih banyak yang memilih reading on paper. Saya sebenarnya want to know about the reason, tapi sepertinya agak sulit dengan virtual meetings seperti ini. Okay, it's okay. Thank you very much. Okay, well, back to the slides. Okay, so reading in digital era. But first, maybe talk about digital era. Let's back to the history of digital era. So when we talk about digital era, so we'll talk about Industrial Revolution. So it started from Industrial Revolution 1.0. Okay, so there are a big invention at that time, steam engine. Okay, and there are factory creations and booming textile industry. And it started in 18th century. That's Industrial Revolution 1.0, and then continued to the second Industrial Revolution 2.0. Okay, it's marked by mass production, and there are also new industries such as electricity, steel, and oil. And some invention at that times are telephone, a light bulb. Jadi sudah ada listrik di sana ya. It started in 19th century. And then continue to the next one, Industrial Revolution 3.0, when computer and internet were invented. Okay, that's the big invention at that time. It is in 20th century. So there are computer and internet. And now we are in Industrial Revolution 4.0. We still use computer and internet, but the difference is the technology here is merging with human life. Jadi dia sudah merge dengan human life. Okay, so there's there's also cloud technology, big data, and network. Okay, so you can see the technology around you and answer that maybe you cannot live without technology. Technology help you a lot in this era, and you need technology, of course, to help you to study. For example, you need Google Translate, right? To help you to translate the language. If you have difficulties to translate bahasa to Indonesia, or maybe Grammarly checker to check your grammar, that's a kind of technology. Maybe if you want to go, you want to eat out, you want to order food from any restaurant, you just use GoFood, Gojek. Okay, that's kind of technology. So technology is merging with us in this era. Okay, and then how about reading? Okay, so reading in digital era. Jadi seperti yang saya bilang tadi, mulai ada perpindahan from reading on paper to reading on screen. Okay, so I show you here 3 important things in reading in digital era. Okay, the first one is about portability. Okay, I'm sure that you agree with me. It's portability. It's portable, so easy to bring. When you have soft copy or digital reading. Okay, digital reading. Yeah, when you have a digital document or digital written text. Okay, it's easy to bring. So you don't need to bring the thick book with you. You just bring your gadget, your handphone, your laptop. Okay, easy to bring, and then can be read everywhere. Okay, so because you always bring your handphone, your gadget, so you can read everywhere you want. Maybe when you go to the bank and queue to go to see the teller and to kill the time, maybe you just open the gadget and then read some comics, novel, or any written documents to get information about, or maybe news, entertainment, advertisement. Okay, and then the next one is paperless. That is easy to bring. Okay, and then the next one is accessibility. Be accessed everywhere. So it's easy to you to access, but the important thing is you need the internet connection or Wi-Fi to get it. If it is online document, if it is online comic, so you get that. You need internet connection to access that. And then multiple textbook. Okay, so because the easiest way to access the online document, it means that you can get multiple textbooks, not only one, so you get it multiple. Jadi tidak hanya satu, bisa dapat beberapa documents, bisa dapat beberapa books, bisa dapat beberapa comics. Okay, and then maybe you can compare it. Okay, and then the next one is never out of stock, because this is online, so it's never out of stock. Kalau misalnya dia books, maybe when you go to the bookstore, oh sorry, it's out of stock. But if it is online, so you can download it anytime you want. Okay, next is flexibility. Oh sorry, it should be the second one. Okay, never mind. Flexibility. Okay, flexibility. For example, okay, it's easy to use enlarge the font size. If you have problem, okay, if you have problem in reading a book because of the font, the small font, but you will not find in digital reading. So it's easy for you to enlarge the font size. Just zoom it in, zoom it out. Okay, it's easy for you. And then multiple media elements. Sometimes when you read online document, not only words, but maybe you can find video or some pictures. Okay, and then find specific words. Okay, for example, when you are reading and then you want to find some words, so maybe you just use the search key to help you. Just type the keywords and then press enter and then you get the words. Easy, right? Tapi kalau buku kan dibolak-balik lagi kertasnya ya. Turn the pages, and then find the words that you are going to find. Kalau misalnya di digital here, you just type it and then use search icon and then it'll help you. Okay, and then read later. So maybe you don't have a lot of time to read. Okay, maybe you just finished 2 or 3 sentences and then you have another thing to do. Okay, you can keep it and then you can continue it later. Flexible, okay, very flexible. And then how about disadvantages of reading in the digital era or digital reading? Of course, something will have its advantage and disadvantage at the same time. How about disadvantages of reading in the digital era or digital reading? Okay, the first is no Wi-Fi. I show you here some of them, yeah? No Wi-Fi. If no Wi-Fi, no reading. If it is online. Jadi kalau misalnya dia online, tidak ada internet connection, so you cannot download, you cannot upload, you cannot read the online comics, novels, or any information if there is no internet. Okay, except you have downloaded and saved in your document in your phone or tablet. Okay, and then need access. some website or some documents, so you need to log in first, and some of them are paid. Beberapa di antaranya itu berbayar dan you need to login, perlu login untuk masuk ke sana, and beberapa kadang berbayar. So you pay to read the document. It's depends, yeah, not all of them. I found some of them. And then distractions, okay. There is a high possibility for the distraction because you read from your gadget. Yeah, I'm sorry, you read your gadget not only to learn, not only to study, but also to connect with others using social media. And maybe while reading, you get a notification from your social media. Okay, that's the kind of distraction. Okay, itu contoh gangguan-gangguan yang bisa terjadi in reading, digital reading. Okay. Okay, next. There is a relationship between linguistic awareness and the development of language skill. Ya, sekarang kita sedikit berpindah ke linguistic ya. So I'm sure that you know about linguistic. So linguistic is study of language, study about language. Okay, there is a relationship between linguistic awareness, the ability to use the language, and the development of language skill. Language skill includes reading, writing, speaking, listening. Okay. Okay, but before I had the third question for you. Saya punya pertanyaan yang ketiga for you. For these questions, you need to type your answer. But just type the word, yeah, I mean the keywords. Because you're not allowed to type a long sentences here. Jadi jawabannya singkat saja. Okay, so the question is about reading difficulties. Okay, what problem do you face in reading English text? Jadi apa sih permasalahan atau kesulitan yang kalian hadapi ketika membaca teks berbahasa Inggris? You need to type your answers, but just write down the keywords. For example, vocabulary, time, like that, yeah. Because you're not allowed to type long sentences here. Okay, my third link. Okay, vocabulary, new vocabulary, difficult terms, grammar errors, grammar, pronunciations, lack of vocabulary. Okay, type your answers. I'll give you 3 minutes. So I think you're allowed to write 2 answers. If you just want to answer with 1 word, it's fine. 2 minutes left. Well, 1 minute left. So well, thank you for the answers. Okay, so vocabulary we can look at here, problems that you face in reading English text. Okay, typical vocabulary. Okay, vocabulary. Yes, like a vocabulary, unfamiliar vocabulary, and the grammar, uh, unfamiliar words, verb, grammar. Okay, that's a new word for me, grammar. Okay, the formation of word, long text. Oh, it's interesting. Mentally unprepared. Okay. Laziness. Okay, ini kayaknya yang tadi jawab never ya. Maybe. Grammar error. Grammar error from the text, you mean? Okay. Typical vocabularies. Okay. RAM. What is RAM? Wrong spelling or something? Okay. Time. You need, maybe you mean you didn't have time to read. Okay. Pronoun. Grammar. Well, thank you. So most of you talk about the vocabulary, unfamiliar vocabulary, unknown words. Thank you. Okay, here I show you researches. Okay, so there are two researches focus on morphology and reading. So the first one is the relation. The first one is the relation between morphological awareness and reading comprehension in beginners readers to young adolescents, and morphological awareness and reading comprehension examining mitigating factors. Okay, so the first research. Okay, from the first research, we can find that morphological awareness of inflection and derivations. Okay, both are morphological process, is significantly associated with reading comprehension, but partly mediated by vocabulary knowledge. Okay, not only about morphological awareness, but also vocabulary knowledge. Okay, so we have to know the vocabulary and we use our morphological awareness. Okay, that's the point. And then the second, it is that morphological awareness contributes to reading comprehension. So it means that it has positive impact to reading comprehension. Morphological awareness influence reading comprehension of the reader. Okay, so let's see about that. Okay, so before talking about morphological awareness, let's talk about linguistic awareness first. Jadi ini ibunya, gitu ya. Sebelum kita ngomongin anaknya, kita ngomongin dulu ibunya. Karena dia yang sudah melahirkan, gitu ya. Okay, so linguistic awareness. So learners' reflection on and manipulation of the language code, or the ability to study language, or the ability to describe the spoken language. When we talk about linguistic, it's the study of language, study about language. When we talk about linguistic awareness, awareness is the ability. I think it's quite clear, yeah. Okay, talk about linguistic. There are some branches of linguistic. Jadi ini anak-anaknya gitu ya. Okay. So they are micro and macro linguistic. Maybe you have learned about that. Jadi di linguistic ada yang namanya mikro and makro, ya. Micro linguistic and macro linguistic. So micro talk about language and its part, gitu ya, internal. Kalau misalnya macro linguistic, the relationship with another, beyond linguistic. Jadi hubungannya dengan yang di luar. Oke, apa saja? Saya hanya memberikan gambaran sedikit ya. Okay, so linguistic. So all of them here belong to microlinguistic, phonology, the study about phoneme. Jadi di sini kalian akan yang membahas tentang the pronunciations, ya, phoneme, phoneme itu bunyinya apa saja. Okay, and then morphology, the study about morpheme. Morpheme is the smallest unit of a language, the smallest meaningful unit, sorry. It has meaning, yeah. The smallest meaningful unit of language, and then syntax. Okay, study about words in sentences, and then semantic, study about meaning of the words, and pragmatic, study about the language use. Jadi di sini akan ada yang namanya maxim. Well, this is macrolinguistics. As I said before, it's related to other subjects beyond linguistic. Okay, so first is social linguistics. I think that's one of your subjects in English language department. So you study about language use in society. And then anthropological linguistics, you study about language and culture. And then psycholinguistics, language and mind. And then stylistic, style of language, medicinal literacy. And then computational linguistics, relation between computational model of language, yeah, computation and language. Okay, and then philosophical philosophical linguistics, language and philosophy, and then applied linguistics, okay, practical application of language. Misalnya untuk di language learning, ya, learning and teaching. Okay, so we are here now, morphology. As the title, morphological awareness and reading comprehension. Okay, so morphology is a study about morpheme, study about words and its part. Jadi ada dua istilah penting di sini. Yang pertama adalah morpheme, the smallest meaningful unit of a language. Okay, there are two kinds of morpheme. Yeah, two kinds of morpheme, free morpheme and bound morpheme. A free is the morpheme that can stand alone. Jadi dia bisa berdiri sendiri. Bound is morpheme that cannot stand alone with meaning. So it needs another morpheme. Jadi dia akan perlu morpheme yang lain. Then there is morphological process in morphology. There are two processes. Okay, the first one is derivational and inflectional. Jadi ada proses derivational and inflectional. some important thing about this process, yeah, okay, derivational. It can create a new lexeme from a base, okay, change the grammatical category of the word, and change the meaning. Jadi kalau derivational berarti dia akan merubah makna dari base wordnya dia, atau rootnya dia, atau stemnya dia, okay. And then inflectional, okay, is to create a new word form of an existing lexeme word. Dia membentuk kata baru, tapi dia tuh masih ada di lexeme yang sama, okay. And then give grammatical information in terms of tense, case, gender. And then don't create a new entry in one's mental lexicon. Jadi dia tidak membuat kata baru, tapi dia masih di lexemnya. Contohnya adalah seperti perubahan tenses, case, okay. Jadi kalau misalnya dia pause, so it change into ed, for example, like that. Let's take a look for more specific here. Okay. Free morpheme, that's the example of free morpheme. Bag, okay. Bag is free morpheme because it can stand alone with meaning. Jadi bag kan sudah ada meaningnya. It can stand alone. And then bond morpheme here is bag. When we say bags, so there are two morphemes. Bag is free morpheme, and then is bond morpheme. Bond morpheme, it cannot stand alone. Okay. So when we say bags, there are two morphemes, bag and is. Okay, bag is the root, and then is suffix. Okay, so affix, okay, atau imbuhan in bahasa, they are prefix, suffix, and infix one more, but people rarely use that. So because of that, I show you here two of them, prefix and suffix. So I show you the examples of prefix and suffix as well on in this. Okay, for example, on, unhappy, impossible, for example, suffix yen, li, okay, beautifully, okay, three morphemes, yeah, beautiful and li, all, okay, etc. In bahasa, awalan, akhiran. Okay, and then now take a look on the right side. That's a process of morphology, yeah, morphological process, inflectional and derivational. Jadi inflectional, jadi di sini lebih ke this process doesn't change the meaning. Take a look at the examples here. Bag and bags. The meaning is the same. That's the second word, bags, does indicate the plural. Because of that, that's belong to inflectional. They have the same meaning. The difference just the as here, the morpheme as here just indicate the plural form of the root. The root here is bag. Okay, next derivational. The example is fair and unfair. So fair is, sorry, that's not that. Fair is be fair. I missed the R. Okay, fair, acceptable and appropriate in particular situation. Fair, the root, and then plus prefix on becomes unfair. If we see the word clause, it's the same adjective, okay, but it has different meaning. The meaning is not acceptable and appropriate in particular situation. Okay, the meaning is changing. That's derivational process. Okay, and here, so what is morphological awareness? So I show you three definitions of morphological awareness. Okay, the first one is the ability to understand morpheme meaning and reflect on morphemic structure of word. Jadi kemampuan untuk yang melakukan yang tadi. So you know how many morphemes, which one is bond, which one is free. Okay. And then the ability to recognize the existence of morpheme in words. Yes, as I said before, you know how many morphemes is that word. Okay, what process there? Okay, And then the last definition, okay, the individual conscious comprehension of the particular word, morphemic structures, and their ability to imitate and manipulate that structures. Okay, so those are the definition of morphological awareness. Okay, so what are the contribution of morphological awareness to reading comprehension? Apa kontribusinya? Okay, there are some of them. Okay, first one is decode the words. So you will be able, you have ability to decode the words. Decode the words means that you get the meaning from the words and then infer the meaning. Okay, and then facilitate both word reading and understanding of word in text. Okay, and then in the end, you can improve access to unfamiliar words for better reading comprehension. Jadi maksudnya dari morphological awareness itu, kalau kalian punya morphological awareness, it will help you to identify the meaning of a word in a text. Okay, by identify the morphemes. Okay, but something to be highlighted here is not only morphological, okay, not only parts of the word that influence the meaning, they are the other factors. For example, the other words in that sentence, the position of the word, talk about syntax. Jadi tidak hanya morphological, tapi at least in morphological awareness, you will know the words and its parts and the meaning of it. Okay, let's take a look here. An example. So I have an English text here I got from bbc.com. Jadi contoh realitinya seperti ini. When you read this text and then you find some words that are unfamiliar for you, that difficult for you, that you don't know the meaning, what's the meaning of that word? Okay, so you can try to do the morphological process. For example, I took one of them, settlements. Okay, so you can identify here the morphemes in that words. So there are three morphemes here: settle, meant, and as. Settle here is the root. Okay, and meant here is the suffix, and then as here indicate plural because the word clause is noun. If it is verb, so it indicates she, he, it, are you, they, like that. Okay, and then
Excuse me, Miss.
Yes.
Your time still 5 minutes, yeah?
Okay, so I'll finish it less than 5 minutes. Thank you, Mr. Dewa. Okay, so based on this morphological process, we can conclude the meaning of that word. So take a look in official agreement that ends an argument between two people or groups. Mirip maknanya dengan the root or the stem or the base word, the base morpheme, karena ada penambahan suffix men, dia menjadi actionnya, dia menjadi nounnya, that becomes noun. Oh, dari sana kalian bisa tahu, oh, settlement ini adalah noun karena dia ada penambahan men-nya. Kalau settle saja, it is verb. Okay, the next example, complainant. Okay, so complainant. So the right from the base word, the base or morpheme, sorry, the base morpheme complain and the suffix end, and then suffix s. Complain is the verb to say that you are annoyed, unhappy, or not satisfied about somebody or something, and then suffix and here at the meaning of a person, and then is plural because noun. So complainant, that meaning people, okay, because there are more than one people who are unhappy or not satisfied because about somebody or something. Okay, the next, this is the last examples. Imprudently. Okay, perfect aim, base prudent, and then suffix li. Jadi im, if there is prefix im, it means not. Jadi it indicates negative. And li means manner in the way mentioned based on the base marker. So imprudently means in the way that is not sensible and careful when you make judgment or decision. Jadi morphological awareness here. So help you to find the parts of the word and then get the meaning from that. Okay, so that's all from our presentation. Thank you very much. So back to Mr. Dewa. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Ms. Trisnaya, Trisnaya Dewi SS Hum, for giving such informative and interesting presentations. So now, ladies and gentlemen, we come to the question and answer session. I'd like to have 3 questions from the participants. Please, you may raise your hand or write it in chat box. Okay, for other participants, if you have any questions, we can discuss together here. So you can raise your hand or write down in chat box. Thank you. All right, so the first questions come from Surya Utami Dewi. So the question is, okay, I'm so sorry. The first question is come from Pepe Puja. As a student before, what was your worst problem in studying linguistic, and why, and how did you handle the problem? Okay, so that's the first questions, and then the second question is from Surya Utami. The question is how to increase a student's desire to read, because I am also still lazy to read. Okay, good question. Okay, the next one is from Cindy Ari. Okay, the question is how to overcome the obstacles and difficulties when we need to read in digital reading. Okay, so for Ms. Dina, are you ready to answer the questions? Okay, we have already 3 questions.
Yeah, Mr. Dewa. So do I have to answer all the questions or it is just 3 of them? Hello?
Okay, so Mrs. Na, we already have 3 questions. Okay, are you ready to answer the questions?
So do I have to answer all of the questions or it's just 3 of them? You said that. All of them?
Just three, yeah, just three questions only. Okay.
So maybe it's better to you to read the question. So which question should I answer?
Okay. Okay. So the first questions is come from Pepe Puja, yeah. So that's the first questions. Yeah, the question is, as a student before, what was your worst problem in studying linguistics? Why? And how did you handle the problem? Okay.
Okay, thank you
That
for the question, Pepe. Yeah, thank you for the question, Pepe. So you asked me to think about my past, yeah. Okay, no worries. Okay, so the problems in studying linguistics, of course, I have a lot of problem. I had a lot of problem when studying linguistics because that's new for me. Okay, before in the past as the student, I just know about the language, just the grammar, but there is a study of that. So we have to analyze every single word that we utter, that we produce. So we have to analyze that. Jadi poinnya gitu. Linguistik kan kita menganalisis ya. Kalau misalnya morphology, so we analyze the parts of the words. Kalau syntax, ya we have to analyze the position, the words in the sentence. Of course, I have difficulties. But what was the words? So all of the branches of linguistics, because I learned when I was in university, I learned about phonology, morphology, syntax, social linguistic, psycholinguistic. Okay, so I learned all of them because I was in English letters, yeah, a faculty of letters, English, English department. So I focus on linguistic. So all of them, yeah, PP. And then why? Because that's new for me. How did you handle the problem? I handled that by practicing, of course, by practice more, study more, because I am in that department, so I have to be able to study of the language. So because of that, because I was in that department, jadi karena saya di jurusan itu, I have to learn about that. That's become my motivation. So I have to graduate from my university because after I learn more. So not only from the classroom, I also find other research, other references from online, and then I borrow books from my seniors. Okay, that's I did, Pepe.
Okay, Miss,
okay.
thank you for
So thank you, Ms. Isna, for the answer. I think, yeah, Pepe, that's the answer from Ms. Isna. Maybe it can be helpful for you if you have a problem in studying a language, and then so how to handle it. Like Ms. Tisna said before, you have to practice, study, and yeah, use the word as a classroom. Yeah, maybe it's a good option for you. Okay, now we go next for the second question.
One more. One more, Pak Dewa.
Yes.
So you need to have motivation. Okay, as I said, so you need to have motivation in yourself.
Okay.
What is your motivation? Yeah.
Okay. Maybe like kalau kita menjadi leader ya, you have kamu harus punya visi ya, harus ada target yang dituju, mungkin seperti itu.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very
Something
much,
that
Ms.
motivate you.
Tisna.
Yes. Something that motivate you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Tisna. So we go next for the second questions. So the question is, how to increase a student's desire to read? Because I'm also still lazy to read. Okay, this question is come from Surya Utami Dewi. Okay, Ms. Tisna, you ready to answer it? Please.
Yes. Okay. So thank you for the question, Surya. How to increase a student desire to read because you are lazy. Oh, so you are the person who wrote the word lazy, yeah. Okay. So how to increase that? You can start with something that you like, something that you are interested in to be read. Jadi mulai dengan sesuatu yang disukai dulu baca. What do you like? Just find that kind of topic to read. For example, you like about automotive cars, about that. Okay, so you can find articles, books, magazine that talk about that thing. So start from your interest.
Okay, Miss. Thank you,
And
Miss.
okay.
Okay, ya. Thank you very much, Miss Disna. Okay, for maybe for everyone, ya, or for Surya Utami Dewi, so you can start by something that you like, yeah, something that you make interest in reading, so like that. Okay, we go next for the third question. So the question is come from Cindy Ari, yeah. So the question is how to overcome the obstacle and difficulties when we need to read in digital reading. Okay, Miss Tisna, are you ready?
Yes, okay. So how to overcome the obstacle and difficulties when we need to read and digital reading. Okay, how to overcome. So how to overcome the obstacle and difficulties is depends on what obstacle and this difficulties are they. Jadi apa kesulitannya? Karena kan banyak. Okay, but maybe I take one of them. For example, Wi-Fi. For example, Wi-Fi is a kind of obstacle, environment obstacle. Yeah. So how to solve it? Yeah, maybe you can go to a place with a free Wi-Fi, and then you can download as many as sources that you want, as many as comic or as many as document or as many as novel that you like. Download it in that place, and then because it can save multiple text, yeah, multiple document in your gadget, and then next when you have free time, you can read it one by one. So maybe I just want to make sure what obstacle or difficulties are they in reading? Do you mean the vocabulary or difficult vocabulary or maybe unfamiliar word? If it is the unfamiliar word or vocabulary, so you have to learn it because reading is a restricted skill. It's one of restricted skill. Okay, there are 4 skills in English: reading, listening, speaking, writing. Speaking and writing is productive skill, and then listening and reading or receptive skill. So you have to read a lot. If your problem is about the vocabulary or unfamiliar words, so you have to read more. The more you read, the more vocabulary you get. Or by listening, because that another receptive skill. You get the vocabulary from that skill. Okay, jadi kalau nggak mau reading ya listening. So you get new vocabulary from there. Kalau tadi masalahnya Wi-Fi ya okay. So go to a place with free Wi-Fi and that's save in your document. Okay, Mr. Dewa, maybe you can ask the question to be more specific or yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, thank you very much, Miss Tisna. Okay, Siniari, that's very clear enough, yeah. So what is the obstacle and difficulties when we need to read in digital reading? Okay, so I think for discussion is enough, yeah. So thank you, Miss Tisna, for the first speaker in our student general, and then for the second speaker. Maybe you can prepare, yeah, for your presentation. Okay, thank you very much, Miss Disna.
Thank you.
Well, Pak Dewo, how are you today?
Okay, I'm fine, thank you. What about you?
Okay, I'm not so bad, so thank you for asking me. So, okay, well, ladies and gentlemen, our second speaker today is Dr. Dr. Dewa Putu Ramendra, MPD. Ya. He is one of English lecturer at Ganesha University of Education, exactly at English Education Department. He has received his bachelor degree in English education at Ganesha University of Education and taken his master degree at Malang State University. Dr. Dewa Putru Ramendra MPD also taken his doctoral program at Udayana State University, majoring in Linguistic department. Before the presentation begins, let me inform how the presentation will be going on. First, the speaker will be invited to present the material, and then after that, there will be a question and answer session and followed by a conclusion. Okay, now allow me to welcome the second speaker, Dr. Devutu Ramendra MPD, to deliver his presentation. To Dr. Putu Ramendra MPD, the time is yours. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for the moderator. Before I start, can I know the time given for me for the presentation? Just to make sure.
Okay, well, for to the Putu Ramendra, your presentation, you have time 1 hour to present your material, and then so we have to 30 minutes for discussion.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
Good afternoon all. Om Swastiastu. The Honorable Dean of the Faculty of Dharma Acharya, Dr. Andus Imadiradana, the head of the Department of English Language Education, the head of the committee, and all the respected colleagues in the Faculty of Dharma Acharya, and also all the participants. Okay, thank you for the time and chance given to me to share here. And it's really a challenge for me, especially that the theme is up to date and it is a trend. And if I'm not mistaken, since the first few years back, many starts to talk about literacy. And when the theme is given, is delivered to me, I was wondering how it is related, how literacy is related with linguistic awareness and also with the students in this digital era. So I start to dig in and try to grasp the concepts. Okay, I realized that there are three variables here. The first one is literacy, English literacy. The second one is linguistic awareness. And the last one is students of digital era. And Ibu Trisna has presented in an excellent way. And I also enjoyed her presentation when I listened at Ibu Trisna presentation. Okay, here I would like to add, deliver in the presentation, the sharing in from a general perspective. Okay, the intention is to make us all more familiar with the concept and encourage us for further studies and investigation in relation to literacy, linguistic awareness, and also digital era. Okay. Okay, so I think the theme as the title of my presentation here. Okay, the importance of having English literacy and linguistic awareness for the students of digital era. Okay. Okay, first I'll show you the literacy rate, the progress from 1980 to 2015. Okay, literacy in general. So if you look at the chart here, you will see that there is quite a significant improvement from 1980 to 2015 worldwide. If we look at the example in Indonesian situation, we will see that in 1980, it was below 70. And then now in 2015, it is up more than 90%. Okay. This shows a quite promising outlook of the literacy situation in Indonesia. But later we will see what happened with English literacy. Okay. So here we see the same idea but different way of presenting. As you can see here, so the literate population in the world is a lot more as the year progress in comparison to the illiterate population. Okay, and it makes us wonder about the concept of literacy, especially today. We hear different terms in relation to this. We hear financial literacy, alphabet literacy, science literacy, computer literacy, and others. Okay, here we will see that the definition or the concept of literacy has expanded and also to cover to many different concepts. Okay, the first or the basic definition of literacy is this one. If you look at dictionary and other works, mostly will define literacy as this one, the ability to read and write. So it means that if you can read and write, you are said to be literate. And PISA, in doing their survey, also used this kind of definition. And then it expands further to this one. So not just the ability to read and write, but also using written material in order to communicate. Using written materials in order to communicate. So the emphasis is on the communication aspect, whereas this one is on the ability to read and write. And here, as you can see, the written material expands from just written material in the form of print. It also goes to script and also digital. Okay. And then later, it also develops, grows. If you see Gumpers, Freire and others, okay, they do not see literacy as literacy. They look at literacy from the effect of the literacy itself. Okay, what happens? What happens when you are being literate? What happens when you are being literate? Okay, that's their focus. So it means that when you are being literate, okay, it means that there will be development, not only in your ability in reading and writing, but also there will be socio-cognitive change. Okay, your ability to think will grows, will improve, and also your social skills in making interaction and communication will also improve. Okay, that's the third definition. And then we have another definition, quite expansive as well, introduced by UNESCO. So here, the ability to identify, understand, interpret, create, communicate, and compute. Okay, so we have compute here, using printed and written material associated with varying contexts. Okay, and then the next one from OECD, we have this one. So it is about constructing and validating knowledge. So when we talk about constructing and validating knowledge, we talk not only about the creation of knowledge in the form of written materials, but it talks also about how we know that the knowledge is valid, is reliable, can be relied on. As recent phenomena, there are many hoax in the internet, and this kind of skills is very, very important. So as you can see here, the definition of literacy keep on improving in relation to the improvement of society, especially in relation to technology of information. Okay, I also add some more definition of literacy from international organization. Okay, there is some articles, if you like, that actually discuss about the changing definition of literacy. Okay, okay. Not to forget Wikipedia. Okay, usually when we try to find alien concepts that we do not know yet, usually we go to Wikipedia and search there. Okay, it's very handy, very easy, and friendly. Okay, so in Wikipedia, I found out that not only refer to the ability to read and write, but it also about the ability to talk, to calculate, and solve problems. Okay, so getting bigger. And here, it also suggests that literacy cannot be, is very closely related with language competence. Okay, and then in Wikipedia also, we can find the root of literacy, which is literatus, which means someone who studies. Okay, so a very wide definition. Okay. As we know that literacy go together, get along with the community, the concept also expand, not just literacy, but we have literacies, plural, and sometimes multiple literacies, and sometimes multi-literacies, to refer to those many groups of literacies. The London group also divides literacies into two, tool and representation. When we talk about tool literacies, we talk about the mastery of the tools, which enable us to deliver the content of the literacy itself. That is the information, visual, and the media. Okay. Okay. Now we talk about the second variable, the second concept, that is linguistic awareness. Okay. When I search reference on this one, I find out that language awareness and linguistic awareness are treated differently by many experts. Okay, some use the concept or the term language awareness in relation to bilingualism and also multilingualism. Okay, however, some others do not really care about the difference between linguistic and language awareness. They just consider them as one. Okay, so in language awareness, linguistic awareness is a part of it, but some do not care about that. Okay, like for instance, James. Okay, that's why I put this sign here. Okay, showing language here means linguistic awareness. Okay, so here James defined linguistic awareness as the ability to contemplate. To contemplate means to think or to analyze metacognitively, okay, to think or to analyze a language item which one already has developed skill control, and about which one will therefore have developed a coherent set of intuition. So what it says is that linguistic awareness concerns with our ability to think or analyze a linguistic items. And when we are doing that, we compare that linguistic items with the concept that we have in relation to with the concept or the knowledge that we have about that linguistic items. Okay, the second one by Bialystok is more clear. Okay, so he considered linguistic awareness as the speaker's knowledge of grammar, and consequently his ability to judge grammaticality. Okay, so you have grammatical knowledge in your mind, and then when you face with grammatical items, linguistic items, then you will be able to judge, to look at it, okay, to analyze it, whether that one is correct or not, or whether that one is well formed or not. Okay, Komoroska has the same opinion. Okay, and then what interesting is Mattingly, because Mattingly defined linguistic awareness in relation to access. So what is access? So access means or it happens when we try to relate what we face, linguistic items, with our knowledge. So when we see or look at the linguistic items, and then when we try to access our knowledge or our understanding about that linguistic items, that is access. Okay. Okay. And this is interesting because when people talk about linguistic awareness, actually in our core, in our Chomskyan concept, we have the concepts of grammatical competence, which looks like linguistic awareness. Okay, so first we look at what grammar is according to Chomsky. So he defined grammar as a model or description of the linguistic competence or knowledge of the fluent native speakers of the language. Okay, so description of the linguistic competence or description of knowledge possessed by a fluent native speakers. From here, we can conclude that grammatical competence means the knowledge of a fluent native speaker of his or her language. So here we can see that competent is used in the same way with knowledge. When we talk about grammatical competence, we talk about knowledge. Okay, and then what is the content of the knowledge? What is the content? What is inside the knowledge? That's the next question. So what's inside the knowledge is a set of rules. Jadi kaidah ya, kaidah or principles, prinsip atau hukum, which specify how to form, pronounce, interpret phrases and sentences in the language concerns. What does it mean? It means that grammar is an umbrella term. In which inside we talk about pronunciation, we talk about morphology, we talk about syntax, and we talk about semantic. How come? Okay, we can look again to the definition about grammar. So grammatical competence means the speaker hears knowledge of his or her language. So it means that we can pronounce it, we can use the words to form phrases, and we can use phrases to form sentences. Okay, now the next one. When we talk about knowledge, we talk about something innate, something tacit. Jadi innate atau tacit itu maksudnya sesuatu yang tidak kita sadari. Karena bahasa itu kan sifatnya subconscious. Okay, so we talk about something innate or tacit. And the next question is that how do we know that a sentence is wrong or a form of sentence is wrong or right, is well formed or odd atau aneh? Gimana caranya kita tahu suatu kalimat itu aneh atau benar? Okay, there where our intuition work, So this intuition comes from our knowledge of grammar. Jadi kita punya intuisi yang sumbernya adalah pengetahuan grammatical kita. Nah, itulah yang memampukan kita untuk judge whether such a sentence is correct or not. Nah, Chomsky divide those judgment into two. The first one is about sentence well-formedness, and then the second one is about sentence structure. Okay, now we try to look in practice how this works. Okay, now look at this one. Can be a pen in the, it should be in the next, yeah, okay. It can be a pen in the head. Sorry, I mistyped it. Can be a pen in the head. So not any words can fill in the position here. Only special groups of words like body, schools, exam, like Boolean, linguistics. So they have the same characteristic, they have the same behavior, and then later on we call them as noun. The same for this one. Okay, can you say what word can we put here? Okay, usually we will label those words as verb. And then here, modal, and then here, adjective, and then here, adverb. So based on this phenomena, we can create a rule, for instance. For instance, nouns Nouns are a set of words or those words that can occupy the position here. That can occupy the position here. So every word that can take the position here is noun. That's what we can say. Okay, let's take for example, Sunday, for instance. Sunday. You might think Sunday as, say, adverb, adjective, or others. But if we put Sunday here, Sunday will occupy the position here. Sunday can be a pain in the neck, in the head, for instance. So, which means that Sunday is a noun. Okay. What about the word careful, for instance? Okay. So I can put careful here. So which means that it is adjective. What about well? Okay, I can put well here. It is adjective. But I can also put well here, which is adverb. Which means that well is both an adjective and an adverb because it can occupy these two positions. Okay, so based on this, we can make a generalization, a rule. The first one like noun, the second one like adverb. So verb are those sets of words which occupy the position here. Okay. Okay. If we go back again here, just as an additional information, so the relationship between Budi, schools, exam, Lake Puyan, linguistic, that can occupy the position here, we call that as paradigmatic relation. Paradigmatic relation of parallel. Whereas the relation of this word can be a pain in the neck. Here, linear relation, we call this syntagmatic relation, which becomes the source for the terms syntax. Okay, now if you look at here, for instance, using your intuition, you will find that these three sentences is not well formed, are not well formed. They are odd, something wrong with them. Okay, for instance, the first one. Okay, if you look carefully, you will find that this one is odd, because the rules say never separate two with its infinitive. Never separate two with its infinitive. However, two and its infinitive is being separated. So this one is wrong. If you do TOEFL test, you will be wrong. But if you watch Star Trek, the movie, you are right, because the Star Trek use this. But this one is not well formed. It should be is to go, not to boldly go. To go boldly, or is boldly to go, but not to boldly go. Okay, the second one, nobody said nothing. So double negative is not allowed in English. So we said nobody said anything. Okay, and here, okay, this is a homework for you. Okay, now what about linguistic awareness and literacy development? Okay, I think Bu Krishna has talked quite a lot about this. Okay, I will just present quickly. Okay, if we look at Spalberg's view on awareness, so he views awareness as consciousness. Consciousness, which consists of two elements, such as attention and noticing. Attention means you know what attention. It consists of being alert, detect, and orient certain specific items that attract your interest. And then noticing means try to connect that linguistic items that you pay attention with the knowledge that you have in your mind. Okay. There are many research reports in relation to connection between linguistic awareness and literacy. Okay, we have like Pratt and Griff, which say like this one. And then also we have Adam, Dale, Crane, Torreson, and Robin, who found that linguistic awareness are prerequisite for reading and literacy development. Also, to be specific, we will see Mattingly in 1972, based on his research, he observed that a lack of awareness on certain aspect of spoken language at the phonemic level result in children experiencing difficulties when they learn to read. So it shows that spoken ability in relation to linguistic awareness is also important for reading literacy. We have also Vygotsky and Donaldson, who reverse the process. So before we see that linguistic awareness are important for literacy, and then here we see that literacy is important to improve linguistic awareness. So there is a two-way process here. Literacy for linguistic awareness and linguistic awareness for literacy. Now, what about reason to learn English? Okay, so I just quote some. So here, and we know that already, that English is a global language, an international language. English is used in many fields. English is used in social, economic, and political field. English is used in science field, technology, engineering, medicine, pharmacy, education, tourism, and so on. So English has go into every field and aspect of the society's life. So from here, we can say that English is very important. If all people in the world learn English, and then if we don't, it means that we will be left behind. Okay. If we want to change our lives, if we want to improve our lives, then English is necessary. Okay. Some countries in Asia have gone quite far in relation to this English literacy, like China. China in 2011 has officially introduced English at primary 3. But in many places there, English has been taught in primary 1. The same with Malaysia and also Philippines. Okay. Also, English is being used across Asia, especially in postgraduate level, in which English is being used as the medium of instruction. And then the writer mentioned it not as the internationalization, but as the Englishization. Yeah, it's a quite interesting coinage used by Kirkpatrick to explain about the power of English. Okay, I quote from this website, and then they mention 3 reasons why one need to study about English. Okay, next one, we go to the 21st century, okay, to now, to today, to the digital era. Okay, in relation to this digital era, there are 5 trends that we need to consider, which also will influence our literacy, teaching, and learning activity in the class. The first one is digital technology, okay, which is getting more and more modern. Second one, access to information, which is getting more and more easily. Third, globalization, equity, okay, education for all, and accountability. Okay, these trends we need to consider when we talk about education in the 21st century. Okay. I quote from P21. Okay, if you talk about education in the 21st century, this is the most one of the most referred reference. Okay. Okay. So the P21 framework still acknowledge reading, writing, and arithmetic as very important, which means that literacy is very important in this 21st century. And then the second, they also suggest that we need to have this one in this era, forces such as creativity, communication, collaboration, and critical thinking, which means that every teacher, when teaching, should pay attention on these four elements. Okay. And then they also communicate the outcomes that educators should focus when they make decision about curriculum and instruction, such as course like this one. Okay, core subjects and the 21st century themes, learning and innovation skills, information, media and technology, life and career skills. Okay, so this is the diagram. Yeah, if you look at this one, the address, you will see this. Okay. The second, we need also look at perspective from ISTES NETS. Okay, this is a group of education leaders around the world. Okay, they consider that there are 5 domains that the students must know in order to be successful living in this century. Okay. Okay, the first one is creativity and innovation, communication and collaboration, research and information fluency, digital citizenship, technology operation and concept. So if we want to survive in this 21st century, we have to grow this aspect on our sides, which means teacher, when teaching, also need to consider all this one. Okay. When we talk about the competencies that we need in order to operate in this digital era, there are 4 that we need to consider. The first one is technical competency. So like able to master the tools, like the computer, the programs, and so on. And the second one is informational competence. Okay, so we can use the tool, the computers, the net to search for information, and to identify which information are beneficial, which one not. Okay, including hoax. And then the next competence is social competence. Okay, so it's about the ability for us to use the technology to interact with other people. Okay, and then the last one, epistemological competence. Okay, like this one. So you use the technology in order to generate new knowledge or artifact, okay, online. Okay, the next one is this one, the 7 survival skills. Okay, quite similar with the previous. Okay, I just want to add about this. Okay, so you will see and get the picture of how it works in this century. Okay. Now, what is the importance of literacy in relation to the concept that we have discussed previously? So here, a simple one. Okay, this might be similar with Ibu Krishna's finding. Okay, so it is said that reading is the key to 21st century citizenship and society. Okay, yeah, that's what the conclusion made by OECD. Okay. So they said that reading is the key to the growing and changing needs of the interconnected world. Okay, which means that our ability to read is very important today. Okay, and there is also a basic paradigm shift because of literacy. So in the past, when we look at teaching, usually we look at teacher as the one who transfer or impart knowledge, and the students who are recipient of knowledge. But many experts do not see that as effective teaching and learning activity. And many research also show that the students should create knowledge or information by themselves, say through YouTube, through social media, and then publish those knowledge in the internet. In that way, not only the students will be motivated, but they will also have an active learnings when it comes to knowledge construction. Okay, that's the paradigm shifts on literacy. Besides, when we talk about social and global economic situation now, in which knowledge becomes one of the important commodity, so the perspective should shift from us, from the students as consumer of information, to us and the students as producer of information. Otherwise, we will not be able to compete in the development of the technology and also the century. Okay, and then what we need to do to prepare teachers to teach in the 21st century's situation like now. Okay, so the result of a survey here conducted by some researchers to 919 new undergraduate and postgraduates. Okay, they proposed the following recommendation. Okay, in which the student teachers should get first-hand experience of using digital literacy. So which means that the teacher need to teach or practice how to use digital literacy in first-hand way. And then the second, this one, provide structure opportunities to reflect on innovative classroom practice that they have practiced in or observe. Jadi di sini guru-guru praktik itu, jadi calon-calon guru itu harus juga memperoleh kesempatan untuk melihat dan berefleksi bagaimana sih classroom yang inovatif dijalankan dengan konsep digital technology ini. Next one, provide opportunities for student teachers to explore, the affordance of a range of application that could be used in the classroom. Ya, kita kan tahu kadang-kadang program-program untuk mengajar itu sangat banyak, sangat bervariasi dan masing-masing punya kelebihan dan kekurangannya, sehingga calon guru itu perlu untuk mengalami dan melihat itu semua. Oke, and then the last one, ya calon guru itu perlu mendapat kesempatan untuk membaca referensi-referensi yang terkait. Jadi these are all the result of the survey conducted by those experts. Okay, now when we talk about instructional models, okay, so when we talk about 21st century learning, okay, somehow we feel, how can we do this? I have knowledge before about instructional models, and then can I use that? Oke, jadi kan kalau kita pikir, jadi isu-isu yang terkait dengan pembelajaran zaman sekarang itu, digital itu, membuat kita stres ya, membuat kita tertekan. Kira-kira pengetahuan saya yang dulu itu tentang model pembelajaran, metode-metode mengajar, dan lain sebagainya, masih bisa digunakan tidak? Apa semuanya harus di-renovate? Oke. According to Kilman and Milman, they try to dig in and then make a summary of the model of teaching that we have previously, and then in what way they can support for the 21st century learning. Okay, like this one. Okay, now you can, I think as the time goes, you will realize this concept deeper. Okay, it's quite a lot. Okay. Yeah, and the last is the Socratic seminar model. Okay, the summary of the technique and also the relation with the 21st century learning. Okay. Okay. Now I would like to show you the English proficiency index in 2020. Okay, English proficiency index in 2020 globally. So look at here, we have this color for very high, this for high, and this color for moderate, and then yellow for low, and orange for very low. Now we look at the Indonesian position here. Okay, now if you look at here, so the English proficiency index for our country can be categorized as low. Okay. Now if we look at the ranking here, Indonesia is on the 74th. On the 74th with the average score 453. And then in Asia, okay, in Asia, our position is quite far back. So our position is after Nepal, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Vietnam, and Sri Lanka. Okay. So, which means that our English proficiency is low, and we have a challenge, difficult work to do in order to improve our English proficiency. And it would be our duty all, okay, especially you as the students of English department, English language department, to deal with this problem. Okay, and then the next one. This is about the reading habits. Okay, about the reading habits. We have like this one, Japan, South Korea, and China. 11 average, and then 9 and 8. And then here it is said that Singapore is the most literate country across the Asia Pacific region. Okay. And then we have China here. 455 million people in China who read online literature in 2020. Okay, now what about us? Okay, I wonder what about us? Does each person in our country read similar like this? Okay, about 8, 9, or 11? Okay, hopefully so, but we are in doubt about this. Okay, and then the second one is this one. Okay, about which country publishes the most books each year. Okay, so China is the first one. It even precedes US and UK and also Japan with 440,000 books published. And then comes United States, and then comes UK. Okay, and then what about us? Okay, if we look carefully, article publication business and book publication business is a very prospective business. I mean, many countries around the world, governments have spent millions, even trillions of their fund resources in order to buy books or articles publication. Okay, that's important because in order to participate and to participate globally and in order to advance our country, buying books, qualified books especially, are very important. Okay, if we cannot have this achievement in terms of book publication, perhaps we can start with reading books. Okay, and then later on we will come to this. Okay, I think that's all from my presentation. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much for Mr. Deputu Ramendra. So thank you for giving us such informative and interesting presentation. So now, ladies and gentlemen, we come to the question and answer session. I'd like to have 3 questions from the participant. Okay, so for your questions, you might write down in chat box. Okay, please.
Ini bersama BTR Ryzen yang baru.
Okay, well, everyone, so we already have a question. So the first is come from Mela Padma. So the question is, I'm interested in linguistic awareness. Is it only grammatical competence that support the linguistic awareness? Okay. So to Mr. Deputu Ramendra, are you ready to answer the questions?
Okay, thank you. May I know your name?
Mela.
Pak Dewa, ya?
Oh, sorry.
Okay, the question is come from Mela Padma, yeah?
Okay, yeah. Okay. So, yeah, thank you for the moderator, yeah. So, linguistic awareness, okay. This is quite catchy, yeah, linguistic awareness. So, if you Mela, yeah, if you dig into the concept of linguistics, you will find out so many different terms, but they refer to the same thing. So people from different linguistic discipline, when they attach the same phenomena, the same object, usually they use different concepts, but when we dig and analyze it further, we will find out sometimes that they are quite similar, even though some differences might happen. But as the time grows, those similarity sometimes those similar concepts sometimes grow far away from one another and becomes independent one to another. Take for instance, semantic and pragmatic. Okay, semantic and pragmatic in the past are one, and then as the concepts of pragmatic grows bigger and bigger, it's separated from semantic. So in the past, pragmatic is said to be the waste basket of semantic or of linguistic. Jadi zaman dulu pragmatik itu disebut keranjang sampahnya semantik. Jadi konsep-konsep yang tidak terdeteksi, teranalyze di semantik dikeluarkan dan dimasukkan ke bak sampah. And then later on, someone find this out and then introduce the concepts of pragmatic, the analysis of language use. Okay, and in the past, people talk about language awareness and linguistic awareness simultaneously to mean the same. But recently, the concepts are differentiated. Okay, when the concepts of bilingualism and multilingualism come to the surface. So we have language awareness to show how we switch from one language to another language, which is linguistic is one aspect of it. Okay, and this question, okay, when we talk about linguistic awareness, the core, the basic or the essence is grammatical competence or grammatical knowledge. Okay, without this competence, without this knowledge, it is no way that you have the awareness. Okay, so for instance, we are Balinese speaker or Indonesian speaker, so which means that we have Balinese or Indonesian knowledge as language. We know how to say some things in Balinese. We know how to connect words in Balinese to form phrases and create or make sentences from those phrases. Okay, we can make sentences. We can pronounce Balinese words. Why? Because we have this grammatical knowledge, because we have this grammatical competence. And then when we face with certain linguistic items, okay, and then we want to analyze it, this knowledge or this competence in our mind, in our cognitive structure, will come out as intuition, in the form of judgment. Okay, in the form of judgment. Okay, yeah, I think, but of course, not only grammatical competence which is required, yeah, as Bu Trishna also explained, we also have macro linguistics. Okay, we have grammatical competence and then we have pragmatic competence. According to Chomsky, when we talk about grammatical competence, we talk about the lexical or the passive knowledge of linguistics. And then when we talk about pragmatic competence, we talk about our ability to use the language. And it belongs to macro linguistic, as Bu Trishna explained just now, like pragmatic, sociolinguistic, discourse, and others. Okay. So I think that's all from me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, yeah, to Mr. Deputu Ramendra. So thank you for explanation. I think that's clear enough, yeah. So I'm so sorry, I can answer your question for the first. My name is Dewo Madi Agustawan, yeah, as
Okay,
moderator today.
Yes, thank
So
you, Pak Dewa.
I was your student, yeah, when you continuing your doctoral program at Udayana State University.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, thank you. Pak.
okay, we go next for the second question, yeah. This question is come from Arya. If it's not the digital era, is it still important to having English literacy and linguistic awareness for the students? Give an explanation. Okay.
Okay, thank you, Arya. Okay. Yeah, of course, it's still important and very important. Yeah. So in any era, English literacy and linguistic awareness always important. Are always important. Okay, why? Yeah, it's about literacy is about the ability to read and write. As we know that our society start to improve by the introduction of language. Before language is introduced, yeah, if we look at the theory of evolution, we are still apes ya. Kita masih monyet sebelum ada bahasa. And then language is said to be a technology. Jadi bahasa itu adalah teknologi ya. Technology that improves our life. Language help us in all other aspects of our lives. And when we talk about linguistic, yeah, of course, it's also important because linguistic is the study of language. Okay, so through linguistic, we are able to study about our language and also to study about other language well. Okay, so this awareness is also very important. We know that when we talk about language, there are many layers. Okay, there are many layers of language. There are many kinds of language. We have standard language, we have dialects and others. Okay, and as academician especially, we need to be able to use academic language. And without this linguistic awareness, how can we move from one linguistic item to another linguistic items for effective communication? Okay, for instance, will I say I murder the butterfly or I murder the mosquito, or I kill the mosquito? Okay, so if we realize, if we aware of the difference between murder and kill, for instance, or execute, can I say I execute the mosquito, for instance? If we realize the difference, we aware the difference between these three words, and then we will be able to choose which one for us. And that is the interaction between English literacy and also linguistic awareness. Okay, I think that's all, Arya. Thank you, Pak Dewa.
Thank you very much, Mr. Dewa Puturananda. So having English literacy and linguistic awareness is still very and always important, yeah. So like theory evolution that's said by Mr. Dewa Puturananda. So we go next for the last question, yeah. So the last question is come from Niputu Inten Leonia. Yeah? So the question is, I want to ask a question. In your opinion, as you said before, based on the English Proficiency Index, Indonesia is categorized low. In your opinion, why it can be happened in our country and what is the solution? Okay, Mr. Deputy Ramendra, are you ready to answer the questions?
Okay, thank you, Pak Dewa.
Okay.
Yeah, this is from Intan Leonie. Yeah. Okay, this is quite a difficult question to answer. Okay. Why? Because it will need stakeholders and those that can make decision in relation to this. Okay. However, in my opinion, okay, just my opinion, okay, what makes English Proficiency Index low, okay, you can also observe in the community about the awareness, our awareness in literacy to read and also to write is still low. Okay. Now, if you check in your environment, for instance, how many people are reading every day? Okay, the students, what do they do after going out from class? Okay, so, and our parents and people around us, what do they do? Do they consider studying, learning, and reading or writing as part of their daily life? Okay, so I would like to share an experience. Okay, I don't know what happened now, but when I went to Flinders University in 2012, okay, yeah, 2011 or to 2012, I forget. So only a short visit. Okay, so when I went from my boarding house to the university, and then I used to see students sitting in the bus. What they did quite fascinate me. Why? Because they just come into the bus and then sit and then open their bag and then put their iPod in their ear and then open their books reading. Okay, I observed that most of them do that. And then in the university, I also observed many people who sit everywhere in the grass, in the land, and what they did is opening their books, reading, and then talking with one another. And I went to the library there, and the library is in the library there are a lot of computers. And by the time I sat there, the first thing I did was opening my Facebook. Opening my Facebook. Okay, I really want to know the news. And you know what happened? I look at those people by my sides, and I also stand, and nobody opened their Facebook. Okay, I was ashamed at the time, and then I closed my Facebook and then read articles and book like them. So this shows different awareness and responsibility towards our own learning. Okay, that's first, personal responsibility. I think it's the most count. And the second one is about policy. So in the past few years, we have international schools, and the government also officially introduced law which allows English to be introduced in elementary school in grade 3. I think that's a very very excellent move from the government. Okay, because if we want to compete and participate globally, English really needs to be taught from the beginning. But unfortunately, that program seems to be canceled, and I don't see many schools, elementary schools, who introduce English in elementary schools. Okay, now and that's very important as well. I think also the skill, the competency, and the ability of teachers, English teachers, need to be improved regularly, also, so that they can teach the student better and better. Okay. Yeah, I think that's all my personal opinion about your questions, Intan. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much for Mr. Deputy Ramendra. So, excuse me, Bapak. So, do you want to answer the question left?
It depends. Okay, it depends on you, on the committee.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, so thank you, Bapak. So the next question is from Damayanti. So the question is on your experiences, could you please tell us what kinds of way that you have tried as an English teacher for improving the literacy awareness and literacy development, especially for the students? Okay, this is the last question, yeah, Bapak. So thank you.
Okay. Yeah, thank you, Dama. This is a very interesting question. Okay, I need to think for a while how to answer your questions. Okay, what I did. Okay, because all along I'm a lecturer and I don't really think much about literacy. So when I went to class, I just think about how I could deliver my presentation in a familiar way for the students. Okay. What kind of ways you have tried as an English teacher for improving the literacy awareness and literacy development? Okay. So because my expertise is on linguistic, okay, I study about linguistic mostly. So usually what I did to my students is to get them aware, of the linguistic items that they have used in producing their works, either through written, either in written form or spoken. Okay. For example, in teaching writing, so besides considering about the way the students express their ideas in writing, especially in relation to how the topic sentence is related to the supports and also the conclusion, in order to get the students familiar with the rhetorics of English writings, and also in order to improve their socio-cognitive skills. That's what I do. Besides, I also look at the grammatical points. Okay, so where the students have problem in their writing. Okay, and usually I will ask the student to notice their problems, each of the linguistic, the grammatical problem, and ask them to try to find out the solution by themselves. Okay, in doing so, usually I ask the student to read aloud or to present their writing. They present their writing and also ask them to find out what's wrong with their writing. But sometimes this is quite a problem, because the students often think that as teachers, it is us who should teach, not them, to find out the answer for themselves. And in relation to that, we need to be very careful with the students, because if they have developed that mindset, it means that they expect us to explain for them. And then we need to guide the student along the way. What's the problem? And then give a little explanation, and then ask them to try to relate the explanation with the problem that they might have in their writing. And I try also to simplify the teaching of grammar. For instance, when it comes to the discussion about word categories, for instance, okay, I use those sentences that I presented just now. What is noun? Noun is this one. And then I ask them, what about Sunday? What about Monday? And the students will say, they are adverbs. And then I will ask them, okay, why don't you put it in the slot? And then open your internet and then look at sentences to show where Sunday or Monday are located. And then by doing investigation by themselves, they will get this, oh, so Sunday and Monday are actually noun. Why noun? Because it's position and the noun position. What about in Bahasa Indonesia? Is it still a noun or adverb? And then we discuss. Okay, what about sick, for instance? Sick. Sick is clearly adjective in English. What about in Indonesia? Like in saya sakit kemarin. Okay, what about that? Is it really an adjective or a verb? Okay, so by making that simple parameters, the students can improve their linguistic awareness. And furthermore, and this linguistic awareness is treated in the context of reading and writing. So I think that's what I did until today. And after I study on the past few weeks about literacy, linguistic awareness, to be frank, I get more and more ideas about how I should conduct the class in the better way. Okay. Thank you, Damayanti. Thank you very much. Thank you, Pak Dewa.
Well, thank you very much, yeah, for the nice explanation and also for Damayanti. Yeah, that's clear enough. Is it interesting? Yeah, isn't it? Very good. Yeah. So now, ladies and gentlemen, we finally come to the end of this seminar. I'd like to thank both the speaker. First come from to Miss Krishna Dewi SSM Hum, and also for Mr. Dr. Putu Ramendra, SPDMPD. So thank you very much for the informative and interesting presentation, and all the participants for the very active participation. Finally, give the applause for the speaker and for you all. Okay, well, for the occasion, I'll be given back to MC. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we would like to send our highest appreciation to Kumang Trisna Dewi SSM Hum and Dr. Dewa Putu Ramendra SPD MPD for sharing very valuable and inspiring lessons. Ladies and gentlemen, now we have come to the end of the Studium Generale. We would like to thank for spending your time with us this afternoon. We do apologize for any inconvenience during the Studium Generale. Om Santi 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 Om.